You have reached Wrestling's Authority Interview. I'm your man, Steele. And today I'll be reviewing for Transforming Age of the Primes Sureshot. Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Targetmaster Sureshot. Sureshot was released December 2025 with the suggested retail price of $27.99 and is available at all major retailers. Sureshot was released along with the other Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Wave 4 figures, Blastoff, Jalopy, Quick Strike, and Quintus Prime. Sureshot is a Generation 1 inspired figure that converts to his off-road dune buggy mode in 25 steps. His accessories include his Targetmaster spoil sport and instructions. Sureshot stands 5.5 inches tall and he is meant for fans ages 8 and up. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert Sureshot from his robot mode all the way to his off-road dune buggy mode. But the first thing you want to do before you transform any Transformers, you want to remove all the weapons and accessories. So I'm going to take Spoil Sport here. I'll put them off to the side. The first step of the transformation, you got a shoulder joint right there and right there. You got a hinge joint right there and right there. Get that hinge joint or the arm piece and bring it up just like that. And untap that shoulder joint just like that. You want to bring the arm piece all the way up so it's kind of up just like this. Do that to the other side, bring the arm piece, untap that shoulder joint, and bring the arm up just like that, and you have Sureshot in kind of a T-pose there for a second. So step number 2, so the bicep meets the shoulder, you have a swivel joint. Look at that arm piece, you want to rotate it down just like that. Do that to the other side of that arm piece and rotate it down just like that. But step number 3, you have Sureshot's head, you got a panel right there, you got a hinge joint right there. Look at that head piece and bring it all the way up just like that. But step number 4, you have this chest piece right here. You want to bring that chest piece slightly up just like that. So step number 5, you have this little red panel right here. You have the hinge joint right there. You want to take that red panel, you want to straighten it out just like that. So step number 6, you have this top piece right here. You want to take this top piece and rotate it all the way around just like that. So step number 7, you have this orange panel right there. You got a hinge joint on the bottom here. You want to straighten out that orange panel just like that. Then step number 8, there's this other hinge joint right there. You want to kind of bring it up just like that. So step number 9, you want to take this chest piece now. You want to bring it down and tab it in place just like that. So step number 10, you want to turn Sureshot all the way around. You have this head piece right here. We're going to bring that panel and bring it down just like that. So step number 11, you have a hinge joint right there and right there. You want to take this piece, you want to swing the arm over the head just like that. Do that to the other side of the arm piece and swing it over the head just like that. So step number 12, you have a hinge joint right there and right there. You want to bring this arm piece all the way up just like that. Do that to the other side of the arm piece all the way up just like that. So step number 13, you have this head piece right here. You want to go and push it right into the body just like that. Step number 14, you have Sureshot's feet right there and right there. Top of his foot, you have a porthole right there and right there. You have a hinge joint right there and right there. And on the leg, you have a tab right there and right there. You want to take that foot and swing it up so the foot tabs right into place just like that. Do that. You have that foot, swing it up so it tabs into place just like that. Step number 15, you have this waist piece right here. It's on a swivel joint. You want to go take that waist piece, rotate it all the way around just like that. Step number 16, on the back of Sureshot's legs, you have a wheel piece right there and right there. You have a hinge joint right there and right there. You take that wheel piece and swing it out just like that. Do that to the other side of that wheel piece and swing it out just like that. Step number 17, you have this red piece right there. You have a hinge joint right there. Take that red piece and bring it down just like that. Do that to the other side of that red piece and bring it all the way down just like that. So step number 18, you have these thigh pieces right there and right there. On the bottom of the thigh piece, you have double jointed hinge joint right there and right there. You want to collapse this thigh piece right into the leg just like that. Go and do that. You have that thigh piece and collapse it right into the leg just like that. So step number 19, in between these leg pieces, here's some tabs and portholes. You want to go and bring these leg pieces together just like that. So step number 20, you have this whole top portion right here. You have a hinge joint right there. You want to swing this top portion all the way down, just like that. Tab it right into place, just like this. Step number 21, you have these arm pieces back here. You have the hinge joint right there and right there. So you're going to bring this arm piece all the way down. You got a little tab and porthole right here. You want to tab that forearm right into that piece just like that. You want to do that just like that forearm piece and tab right into the foot just like that. So step number 22, now you have these wheel pieces right here. You have a little tab and a porthole right here. You're going to tab the wheel piece right into the forearm just like that. Do that just like that wheel and tab it right into the forearm just like that. So step number 23, this front end right here. So we're going to take that hinge joint right there, take this front end and bring it all the way down just like that. So step number 24, we're just going to rotate this piece all the way around just like that. This is the 25th and final step. You're going to tab that front piece down just like that. And now you have Sureshot in its full off-road dune buggy mode. Now that's Sureshot in its off-road dune buggy mode. And on my display table, so I'm going to go over some of his play features and accessories. First, I talk about his Targetmaster Sport. The Targetmasters have a unique gimmick where they all convert into little robots. But I'll get into that more in the next segment of this review. But in order to arm Targetmaster Sureshot with Sport, the handle here is actually a 5mm peg. On his hood here, he has a 5mm porthole. You take Sport, plug him right into the hood just like that, and now you have Sureshot fully armed while he's in his off-road dune buggy mode. Very, very cool play feature. And normally I'm not a big fan of arming my Transformers with the weapons while they're in their alt mode, and this plays a part of the transformation, which it does in this case. If you're wondering what an alt mode is anything that's not the robot mode. This is a vehicle mode, animal mode, in this case an off-road dune buggy mode. Very, very cool, and I do like this play feature. And like I said, I love the fact that the Targetmasters do convert into little robots. And the mold detail is very, very nicely done. I'm not really a big fan of this gapping right here. I'm not sure why they didn't fill that in, because I mean the bottom of the piece is filled in, and I know it's part of the leg, but still you don't see a lot of hollow spacing, which Hasbro and Takara have been doing a better job at engineering, because the only part of the figure I can see that has any hollow spacing is the forearms right here. And I know there's a lot of third-party companies that do provide little gap fillers like that. Very, very cool. But he does not deviate too much from the designs from the actual Generation 1 toy. You see a lot of design elements did carry over, and he is more based on the anime model for the Generation 1 cartoon series, and I can't really determine which series, because with Season 4 of the Generation cartoon series, that was kind of the end of Transformers, at least animation-wise, in the United States. Worldwide, or more or less in Japan, they continued the series with a series called Targetmaster, which went beyond Season 4, where it kind of went to the other series of toys. And this one here, I know they didn't really deviate too much between the Headmasters and Generation 1 cartoon series, animated models, at least in that case. But this figure is very, very nicely done. And they did make some improvements into the actual design of the vehicle mode, because the vehicle mode is very cool, but it's an actual original design. And what they did was, when the anime series went ahead and made their animated model, they kind of made it more proportion, where it didn't look as much of a toy. I mean, Sureshot does look like a toy very much. It's not really based on any real-life vehicle, so they went from scratch when they designed him. Well, what the Age of the Primes version of Sureshot did was they kind of made it more sleeker, kept it more faithful to the anime model for the Generation 1 cartoon series, whichever it was, Targetmaster or Rebirth. He did a great job with that. I mean, put the Generation 1 toy off to the side. The wheels do roll and meet with the ground here, but again, like I always say in all my reviews, I really advise rolling this figure on any abrasive surfaces, because you do risk causing some damage to the bottom of the figure, because it does hang very low, as you can see. So, like, if you're rolling across any pavement, you do risk causing some scratching right here on the bottom here, and you wouldn't want that done to your figure, because these figures are very cool and very collectible, and you want to keep them in the best shape possible as long as you can. Very, very nicely done. But you see a lot of mold detail here. Very, very nicely done figure. I do like this figure, but the only thing is I may have a defective figure, because the hinge joint right here is very loose, but I'll get more into that in the next part of this review. But vehicle mode is very solid. I really do enjoy it. I'm going to rotate him around so you can see him, what he looks like from all angles. I do recommend picking him up, and I'm very, very happy with what they've done with the Targetmaster so far. And I know with they released all 3, but the first one they released, and I forgot what his name was, for the Siege line, that was more of a repaint, so I'm hoping that they're going to come out with all 3 Autobot Targetmasters, and possibly the Decepticon ones too. Now that's Sureshot in his robot mode, and on my display table, so we'll go over some of his play features and accessories. First of all, I talk about his Targetmaster Spoils Board. Order armed Sureshot with his Targetmaster. The handle of the blaster has a 5mm peg. Sort of his fist is a 5mm porthole. You take Spoil Sport and plug it right into his hand, and now you have Sureshot fully armed while he is in robot mode. And like I mentioned earlier on, each Targetmaster has a unique gimmick where the actual weapon turns into a little robot. You do that in a 3-step process, which is very simple and very close to what you got from the actual Generation 1 toy. Except this one has an extra step because the barrel of the actual toy does not flip out. Now I'm going to go ahead and explain Sureshot in a second because he does fall over very easy. You want to take this barrel right here, the hinge joint right there, you want to flip that barrel right into the leg, just like that. Here's the hinge joint right there, you want to take the leg and flip it away from the body, and now you have Spoil Sport in his full robot mode. And I want to go and explain Sureshot because this version of Sureshot, I'm not sure if he's defective or just an engineering flaw, but he's very heavy here. He's got the wheels back here, it's pretty heavy, and he's a top-heavy figure. Yet when they engineered him, they engineered it where the feet here are on a hinge joint. It's a very small hinge joint, and if you happen to get a figure with a loose hinge joint, he's not going to display very well because he'll fall over very easy. It's more this leg right here where the leg's very floppy. This one's pretty tight, so I'm hoping maybe when I get my next version of Sureshot, he'll have tighter joints because, yeah, I'm not sure if this is a QR issue, but a lot of times when they check stuff like this, they don't look for stuff like little defects like that. But to me, it's a big defect because he's not standing very properly, and regardless of the review, I'm afraid he's going to fall over a couple times. That's why I let him fall over that first time, so you guys can see that. But this figure is very, very nicely done. And I'm not sure if he's based on the anime model from the Generation cartoon series from the US or from Japan. Because in Headmasters, or at least Series 4 for the Transformer toys, Transformers are kind of fading out in popularity, and they wrapped up the Generation 1 cartoon series with Season 4. Well, in Japan, Transformers were very popular still, so they went ahead and they branched off and created their own continuity with an anime series called Headmasters. And this design is very simplistic because it doesn't really look like a Generation 1 toy. And I didn't really study up on Sureshot when it came to the Headmaster cartoon series. Didn't look at their animated models. I'm sure from what I've seen from other figures that they animated in Headmasters, they were very close to what the toy design was, at least with the head sculpt. And that's why you notice, like, when you look at the Titan Returns version of the Headmasters, a lot of those Headmasters have different head sculpts, as opposed to what was brought out in Rebirth, where they made it very simplistic. But I'm going to bring my Generation 1 toy version of Sureshot in, and I mean, you see a lot of design elements that carry over. I mean, the color scheme stayed very faithful. You had the orange, red, and yellow color scheme. And I saw a unique thing I discovered by accident. You take Spoil Sport from Generation 1, I mean, I can convert him into his robot mode also, and you see similarities and differences between both figures. And I believe this may be based more on the animated model. But I noticed that the Generation 1 toys do actually fit into the Age of the Primes version of Sureshot, which is really, really cool. And likewise, if I go and convert Spoil Sport into his Targetmaster mode, put him right into Generation 1 Sureshot's hand, it fits. Very, very cool. And I really, really think that's a cool play feature. And I'm not sure how I found that out by accident. I didn't find that documented in any other Transformer source page or toy page, but I think that was really cool because I did that accidentally when I was setting up this review. But you can see a lot of the design elements did carry over. The head sculpt's very different though. If you look at the head sculpt, Generation 1 was very lazy because they just painted the face white. They could have at least filled in the eyes or done some more detail. But it's still a nice figure. But I think the head sculpt is cooler for the Generation 1 toy because I'm guessing this is more based on the anime model from Rebirth. And like I said, I didn't really do any research whether or not what he looked like in Headmasters. But if you do know, leave me a comment below. But I am saying that this is more based on Rebirth because it's very simplistic. But like I said, I'm going to rotate these around and hopefully Sureshot will stay on his feet, even that loose hinge joint. But you see a lot of design elements to carry over, you know. And yeah, there's a big hollow gap there. And I'm not sure why they engineered the spoiler the way they did for the Age of the Primes version of Sureshot. Kind of wish they made it where it kind of flipped into the backpack like Generation 1 toy, because this is a separate piece. And I think it was in with Spoil Sport. So be very careful when you're unpacking Sureshot, because you don't want to throw away these spoilers. They do play into the transformation, and it is pegged right in. And when I was preparing for this, and there we go, when I was preparing for this review, the spoilers kept on popping out. I'm not sure. I didn't really know if they had much of a purpose, because the instructions don't really show you how to put them on Sureshot. Because a lot of times when they have, you know, unattached accessories in the packaging, they do show you how to attach them on your figure, and they left that out. So I'm not sure if they originally had the plan to ship the figure out with the spoiler pegged in, or maybe glued in or screwed in or something like that, where it was more part of the figure. And I kind of wish they went that route, because having the spoiler as a separate piece kind of has no purpose. What's the Generation 1 version of Sureshot, and supposed to put him off to the side. Now we're going to talk about his articulation. The Targetmaster has no points of articulation. I mean, all you can really do is sit, if you consider that a point of articulation. So they didn't really add in additional points of articulation. And I know with the Titans Return version of Spoil Sport, I think there might be some points of articulation with the legs and the arms and the head. So they put more focus on that. But it was a separate figure. It wasn't included with any other figure. So that Targetmaster had some points of articulation. But this version of Sureshot has lots of points of articulation. I mean, like I mentioned before, you got the foot articulation, you got the knee, you got the hip, the leg, you got the waist, you got the bicep swivel, you have the forearm, you have the shoulder, and you have the head articulation. Very, very nicely done. And I mean, as a Generation 1 fan, and you know, being around with Generation 1 toys, I mean, having so many points of articulation is just a dream. And like I said, he's gonna fall over again. I'm hoping the next version of Sureshot doesn't have that flaw in it. I'm hoping it's a QR issue and not a design issue. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching Red Steele's Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.